For latest updates and short audio clips, follow us on Instagram, Reading the Author.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast Reading the Author, a unique show where we read authors' mind and not their book. Meanwhile, I truly believe and pray that you and your families are completely safe and healthy as well. Guys, today we have Umesh Moudgil sir with us, and he is the author of Deliverance, the second book Brothers in Arms, and the third book Lovers. So altogether, he is the author of 3 books. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on our show. I'm truly grateful कि आप हमारे शो पर आए.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure, sir. So, sir, before we get into the podcast and know much more about your books, about your upcoming projects and everything, I would request you to please introduce yourself ताकि हमारे listeners आपके बारे में और कुछ जान सकें. And do share how you started this writing journey as well.
Sure. So my name is Umesh. I am originally from Jalandhar in Punjab. I came to the UK in 1970 when I was 5 years old with my parents. My father came in 68. So I've been in the UK now for probably about 55 plus years now. And writing was always part of what I enjoyed, and because I could visualize a story, I could visualize a dream, so a few years, probably about 20 years ago, I had a few mental health issues in terms of my own mind, and so the best way around this was to write a book. And so I wrote Deliverance. So Deliverance was my own autobiography, really. It was a black comedy. And that's really how I got into writing. I just love visualizing a story. And my job allows me to do that as well with my traveling.
Okay. So, sir, after listening to this podcast, many people just love to explore these books. Like, they might be interested in buying and reading it too. So when it comes to, let's say, talking from a new reader's perspective, okay? So what a new reader can expect from your books? Can you share some insights?
Yeah, of course. What a new reader can expect from my books is very down-to-earth writing, very simple English as opposed to trying to complicate it, but also the character, very rich in character building. I really like to have rich characters, people I can relate to, and most of my characters are people I relate to every day. The way I build characters is if I see someone or talk to someone, they suddenly become a character in a possible book in the future. So what people can expect is a lot of passion, a lot of storytelling, and hopefully the reader asking questions at the end of themselves, saying, "What am I like? Who am I?" And if they walk away doing that, I'm happy.
So, as we talked about the perspective of a new reader, like what they can expect from this book. Now, coming to the people who have already read this, because we will be sharing on social media, and definitely your readers base will be interested in listening to this podcast too. So let's say from a person who have already read a book, what they can expect from you as of now. Like, are you writing something, you want to experiment a bit, let's say on some other genres, or you want to stick to these only? Is there anything in the pipeline?
Yes, there is. There's 2 things in the pipeline. There's a which I started a couple of years ago, but I left it. But now I'm 10 chapters in. But also, my parents both passed away in September and December last year. So I'm still going through a grieving process, and I suddenly found 2 things. I suddenly found I enjoy my poetry again. I found my spirituality again through Lord Krishna and the Gita. And so I'm writing a book of poetry at the moment, and that'll be out by the end of this year. So yeah, I'm still going strong my writing because I find it a way of having a way out.
Definitely. So let's say, what basically, sir, when it comes to talking about this industry and about this podcast, like this podcast we are doing from last 4 years, and I am serving in this industry, providing different kinds of services to authors from last 8 years. And personally, I have seen that most of the authors are trying to be known, or let's say remembered, as a certain genre or certain type of author. They want to create a certain image of them in the reader's mind. So when it comes to you talking from, let's say, a personal branding perspective, कि आज से 1-2 साल बाद अगर किसी ने देखा क्योंकि इट्स न्यू बुक बाय उमेश सर, देन व्हाट सडन इम्पैक्ट यू वांट टू क्रिएट ऑन दैट रीडर्स माइंड, क्योंकि ऐसी सर की बुक है, ये मिलेगा पढ़ने को, ऐसी होगी, इस टाइप की होगी, या फिर लेट्स से इस वाइब की होगी. कभी सोचा इस बारे में?
Yeah, मैं बहुत सोचा है इस बारे में. But the way I always think about it is that when people pick a book up from me, they'll understand that I put my heart and soul into the book. I put myself into the book. So मेरी अपनी जान किताब चुनती है. So that's the main thing that I can promise a reader, that when they pick a book from me, that they'll have my soul in the book. But also I always feel that when I'm writing a book, someone is guiding me spiritually. And now with my mum and dad's passing, I find it more and more now that now I'm on a path where when people pick my book up, they'll also try to heal themselves. And that's what I like to do now. I don't, you know what, this is really funny, but I don't write books to make money, almost.
I feel really blessed to have such kind of people on my show who think beyond money when it comes to writing, because most of the people start this process as a kind of healing to themselves, or let's say they want to make an impact on the society or something like that, but they end up just going again in this particular rat race. Okay, selling this book this much, and best selling reviews and all that. But having people like you who still after writing 3 books still says this kinds of thing, truly blessed to have you on the show.
No, I you know what, I think that the next 2 books are very personal indeed. The poems are very personal. They're very raw. I love poetry. I'm an old Indian song fanatic. I love Rafi. I love Mukesh. I love Lata. You can leave me in a room listening to old songs from old films, and I'll just melt away. So I base my writing really on what's coming from my heart. And that's what you'll see in the new book, Lovers. I've gone and spent money on teaming up with a lady who has 20 years experience in the US in narrating books on audio. So I've created an audio book. And so I'm in a very happy place in terms of my writing, because I know where I'm coming from. But I think what's helping me, God, at the moment is that since Mum and Dad's death, I've become very deep in my writing, and it's almost as someone else is helping me.
So as of now, like, what's your current writing schedule? Like, every day do you devote some particular hours to writing, or it's like random? Some day you get some thoughts, you just jot it down on your phone or your diary, and after that you elaborate. How does it go?
No, it's literally every day. I think you're on my Instagram. My Instagram is called Journeyman. For those who are listening, and the reason why is because I like to plot a journey. I like to learn, and so every day I will be writing at the moment a poem or a quote. And because I'm a mental health advocate, I believe certainly in our community there's not enough mental support. So I'm writing every day virtually. So any ideas that come through my head, I am writing down and producing a new poem every single day.
So, sir, as of now, like, we have talked about your books, about your upcoming projects, about you take on this industry and all. Now, coming to your personal life, like, there must be a lot of moments which you tag as the happiest moment of life. But if you can share any one of them with us, then that would be really great.
I suppose the moments I can share at like I said before, Gaurav, the moments I can share at the moment is, in everyone's life there comes a moment where it changes you. At the moment, what's changed me is my mum and dad's deaths. Because grief changes you. Grief takes
Yeah,
hold of your
so
body, and and that's changed me this year. I've become much more deeper in my thoughts. I've become much more personal in my thoughts, um, and so that's definitely been the biggest change in my life so far.
so now let's get back to the time, sir, when you heard. Now I'm talking about the first book. Like, in which year it was released, sir, basically?
Sorry.
In which year your first book was released?
Okay, so I released Deliverance about that's nearly 6 years ago now, six,
Okay.
7 years ago now.
Okay.
I started writing Deliverance nearly 20 years ago as a self therapy for myself.
Okay. So what I am asking, like, when it comes to talking, like, let's get back to the time when you heard कि okay, tomorrow your book will be live.
Yeah,
Everybody will be able to buy it, read it, judge you on the
yeah,
basis of what you have written, because most of the cases में ऐसा सोचा जाता है कि एक author वही चीजें लिखता है जो उसके माइंड में होती है, उसका रिफ्लेक्शन
ठीक,
होती है उसकी
ठीक,
किताब. Okay.
ठीक.
So
Yeah, yeah.
एक दिन पहले उस शाम को what was going on your mind? Like, were you relaxed, excited, you just marked up some milestones कि इतने लोग जानते हैं, इतनी तो सेल होनी चाहिए? What was going on in your mind?
I was excited. I was definitely excited. I wanted my parents to see that I was a writer. My dad did not believe I was a writer. So really for me it was more to show him what I could do. And I think when the second book came out, he really understood where I was. But so and then yeah, no, it was exciting. It was when my book arrived on the doorstep. I was feeling very proud of myself as well, and also I was anxious that people would read the book. But I didn't do enough work on that. But I am doing it. I'm doing it now. But I was anxious that people would read the book, not find too many mistakes in the book. But at least they would understand where my writing is coming from.
Okay. So, like, what I personally feel that after the first lockdown was over, the numbers of author got increased very rapidly. Like, there was a boom in this industry.
Yeah.
And as of now, you can also agree on that. I think so. कि अब publishing ज़्यादा easy हो गई because we have lots of literary agents, self-publishing, KDP, traditional is there. So publishing has become much more easier. Whereas the distribution and marketing has completely changed the game. Like, वो काफी difficult हो गया है. So when it
Yeah.
comes to you in this journey of, like, ये author की जितनी इतने साल की आपकी journey रहेगी, anything strike you, या फिर कोई ऐसी चीज जो आपने की हो कि जिससे लगा हो कि यार इसका ROI बहुत सही था, या ये चीज करने से ना सेल्स पे या फिर मेरी प्रमोशन पे काफी अच्छा इम्पैक्ट पड़ा और इससे मैं दोबारा करना चाहूँ? Anything like that happened?
Yeah, it did. But when I did my own marketing for the second book, Brothers in Arms, I didn't do any at all, God of for Deliverance. I didn't know how to because I self-published. And I didn't know how to go do my own marketing. But then for Brothers in Arms, I started finding my Indian influences. And as you know, Gaurav, there's quite a lot of Indian influences. And I formed some really nice relationships with a lot of good people. And my habit is I get on very well, God, with young people because I can relate to them. And so a lot of my influences in India are very young people. And so what I learned is that you have to put yourself out there. You have to get your book read by everyone. And you have to just go out there and market yourself. With the third book, I've gone a step further. I've really pushed the boat out in paying for the audiobook, to getting that done, then getting more influencers on board, promoting the book. I still haven't done enough, to be honest. I've also done a national PR exercise across the UK and the US. So all three books are sold in every Amazon site across the world.
So that's the reason, because slowly things gonna change. बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग होते हैं, and back in time, like जब पहली book release हुई थी, that was not the exact era when this Instagram and other things were that
Yeah.
much in the market as compared to जितना अभी है हमारे पास, right?
Yeah, ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਹੀ, ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਹੀ। ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੁਛ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ। ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੋ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ। ਹੁਣ Instagram ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰਿਵਿਊ ਪਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ। So you publish your book through Kindle,
Yeah.
through Amazon. My third book, I did it myself through Amazon. I did the audio book through Amazon. It was so easy to do as well.
Exactly. In fact, what I also love in this, like there are hundreds of books being published every week, but बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जिनका सपना भी आराम से पूरा हो सकता है बुक लिखने का एंड बुक पब्लिश करने का। वो अब नहीं है कि आई गेस 13 to 14 years ago I was in class 8th एंड मैंने भी किताब लिखी थी, बट लाइक आई एम फ्रॉम वाराणसी, और वाराणसी के 60 किलोमीटर दूर एक शहर है गाजीपुर। आई एम फ्रॉम देयर, दैट्स माय होम टाउन।
अच्छा।
सो बट ड्यू टू लैक ऑफ नॉलेज, लाइक उस समय बिल्कुल नॉलेज नहीं थी, मेरे घर परिवार में किसी को नॉलेज नहीं थी कि किताब कैसे पब्लिश करते हैं। सो उस वक्त वो सपना ही रह गया। लाइक कुछ भी लिखा मैंने, पेपर प्रिंटिंग से प्रिंट किया और उसको स्टेपल करके लोगों को देने लगा, बट कहीं ना कहीं पता था कि ऐसे बुक नहीं होती है। सो वो सपना अब लोगों का बहुत आसानी से और बहुत अच्छे से पूरा हो सकता है, एंड दैट इज द बिगेस्ट बून फॉर दिस इंडस्ट्री, व्हाट आई फील द केडीपी थिंग।
Yeah, I think Gaurav, that everyone has a book inside them, and everyone has a story. It's like I was talking to you about a friend of mine in the US. Now she's gone through a change in her life, and now she's becoming an AI storyteller through music. So I think everything's become easier. Everything's become a lot more easier. ਜੋ ਉਹ ਨਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਨਾ, ਜੋ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਨਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ। My dad used to say to me, ਬਿੱਟੂ ਤੂੰ ਕੰਮ ਦਿਲ ਨਾ ਕਰ, ਜੋ ਦਿਲ ਨਾ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਨਾ ਸਭ ਮਿਲੂਗਾ। And if you read the Gita, you read what Lord Krishna says, you understand what the purpose in life is.
Okay, so probably my last question to this podcast is, sir, like after listening to this podcast, many people will just love to start writing, or they might be holding their first draft in the laptop, in their diary, in their notebook. So what would be your advice for those upcoming authors?
Keep writing. Don't lose the dream, and you don't lose who you are. Put yourself in the shoes of each one of your characters that you're writing, but don't stop dreaming. I have a very old theory. Many years ago, there was an English Hollywood movie called The Wizard of Oz. You may have heard of it. And The Wizard of Oz talks about a young girl lost in a storm, and she's following the Yellow Brick Road. Now the Yellow Brick Road, as she walks along the Yellow Brick Road, she's finding her heart, she's finding her intelligence, and she's finding her way home, and her courage. And in life, we all are following our heart, our courage, and our intelligence. And so I say to any authors now who are writing, keep going. You have your own Yellow Brick Road. Don't let anything stop you. There will be obstacles. People will say, you're not a writer. But keep writing, because that's your dream. And make your dream come true. And it's not about the money. Money will come. If you don't think about money will come. Think about the words you're writing. Think about who you're writing for, and what you're writing, and everything will happen.
Agree on that, definitely. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. I hope you must have enjoyed this lovely and inspiring conversation with Umesh Moudgil, sir. And if you do, then do follow our podcast, Reading the Author, available on all the leading podcast platforms. And don't forget to buy and read the book. आप जस्ट Amazon पे जाएं, वहाँ पे सर्च करें उमेश मॉडगिल, या फिर आप बुक्स के भी नाम सर्च कर सकते हैं, डिलीवरेंस, ब्रदर्स इन आर्म्स एंड लवर्स। बुक आ जाएंगी, जरूर खरीदें, पढ़ें और अपने चाहने वाले, जानने वालों के साथ जरूर शेयर करिए। Thank you so much, sir, for coming on our show. It was my honor to be able to host you today.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. It was an honor to speak to you and your listeners.
Pleasure, sir.